Namaste, namaste, namaste. Welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday, another Wednesday. Today life is going to be super interesting. It's about reincarnation and soul evolution. So reincarnation, first of all, everybody, hello and welcome. Write down in the comments for me if you guys believe in reincarnation. We have multiple lives coming and going and experiencing. Or do you believe, no, there is no soul incarnation? So write it in the comment for me. What are your thoughts? What are you guys thinking about? Anyway, so reincarnation, most of the stuff that I've been talking about today is coming from my personal information, right? And there's no force for you to accept it or not. The reason I'm saying this is because when I had a near-death experience around 30 some years ago, I got a lot of downloads about life, about earth plane, and about all of this stuff. And at that point, I realized that, oh, we have multiple lives. Although I'm saying this, reincarnation for each one of us depends on the evolution that our soul is after. What do I mean by that is that some souls, they're not really choosing in general, even through multiple lifetimes, to have a lot of soul evolution. It's not an interest of the soul, right? So we can have hundreds of lives, but through that hundreds of lives, maybe you live as a life of somebody who's a farmer, and then you choose another lifetime that you are becoming, becoming a teacher or anything like that. Not that I'm saying is one profession is more important than the other, but what I'm basically saying is some of the souls, including myself, that I am an empath. As empath, we choose to be awakened. We choose to come more lifetimes, often lifetimes, because as an empath, our mission is to have our soul's evolution as quick and as intensely as possible. Therefore, even in one lifetime, when I die, my reincarnation is much quicker and faster, rather than somebody whose the sole intention is not to evolve to a highest level of consciousness. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So basically, what's happening is that even when we die, at the time of us reincarnating, it's very different from one to another. Some souls, they choose to come back, they're brave enough to come back right away, and especially if you're an empath, some souls might decide to come 10 years from now or 100 years from now. So that's what I'm saying. So when I had my near-death experience and I left my body, and you know the whole thing that you go through the tunnel and you become light as a feather. When I went back home, I was accompanied with a lot of angels or higher loving guides who came to me and they took me. Suddenly I was at this table sitting with many different guides. And what I was feeling at that moment is, since the consciousness it's so high, is the absence of the physical body and the ego. So everything is very clearly, telepathically, and you are on such a high vibration and consciousness that you get a lot of material at the same time in a very quick way. Because when we go home, remember, we don't have the physical body, we don't have the mind, and we don't have the ego. It's just solely and basically the soul, right? So all of a sudden, when I was basking in this love and light and this feeling, a huge screen opened up in front of me. And I saw on this screen multiple lives, but it seems as though they were different timing. Like one that I still remember after 30 some years was in 1900. And I was a female sitting in a carriage and that stuff. And then other lives, different professions. Some that it was so advanced that I couldn't even have an understanding, even though I was on a higher consciousness, that, oh, flying sausages and this or that, right? So telepathically I asked, are these all me? And the answer was, yes, these are all multiple lives that your soul has chosen to live. And the next question was, so that's the past and this is the future? And I heard, no, there is no concept of timing. There is no concept of time and space. Therefore, all of these lives are happening continuously on a different paradigm, different lifetime, right? So it was in that moment that everything was very clearly understood to me, that my father that I loved and adored, in another lifetime, he was my sister. In another paradigm lifetime, he was my mother. In another paradigm lifetime, I was my father's mother, and so on, so forth. So what I understood was that when even in our family members, we are so much closer to another soul, or even though they're not a family member, but we see someone and right away it feels like we know one another for years and we feel so comfortable and we really get to understand one another. I understood that these are the souls that I have more life with. That's why we recognize them. In the meantime, I understood the souls that I recognize right away. I understand them really well, and they understand me really well, are the ones who are here to teach me the most intense lessons. So in this lifetime, I adored my father. I was so close and connected to my father. And he left me. He died at the age 10. And that's just totally destroyed my lifetime. It brought so much anger within me. And it took me many, many years to understand that, oh, since I have so many multiple lives with this character or the energy soul, that at this lifetime I know as my father, he's also has to teach me, or in another way, I have to learn my highest lessons for my soul evolution through him. Got it, everybody? Yes or no? So, coming back to the topic of reincarnation, I don't have to tell you the history of it, because by now I know, most of you know, that we all think that reincarnation started mainly in India, in Tibet, and in China. Whether that's true or not, we're not here to debate that. But generally, this is what we think. And I was talking to, was it last year? I was talking to this Indian somebody who told me that he and his family heritage are doing the Nadi astrology. And for those of you who might not know what Nadi astrology is that they're saying that from before we come here, from many, many, many years past, they have written all of our incarnations and our lifetime on a leaf, and it just explains every lifetime, why we came, what did my soul choose to learn, and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so now imagine if there was no incarnation. You and I will come one lifetime, and then whatever we learned and experienced, whatever classes we took, it was just a one-time thing, and then it was over. My mind could never understand this. How is it possible for our soul to only come once, and with that little information or classes or whatever that it goes through is done and is finished with? I could never understand that. And what happened to children who die right off the time they are born? Or what happened to the children who die when they're 2 years old or 10 years old? What have they experienced? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying is it doesn't make sense. And then also, how could our soul, which is purely energy, how could the soul just disappear? What happens to that energetic field of the soul? So in that, to me, it have never made sense that I could just come here and then have minimum experience, and then that's it. And then my soul, which is a vibrant energy, it just dissipate into the whole universe. So that's my thought on it. You please write in the comments for me, do you believe in incarnation or you don't? Yes or no? Now, getting back again to the topic of reincarnation. So we came here, this is my belief, this is what I understood when I had near-death experience and I was at home or heaven or whatever we want to call it or name it. What I understood was that through our multiple lives, the soul will choose, and I saw that my guides were telling me, in this lifetime, what lessons do you want to learn? And it was my choice to choose that in this lifetime, I want to choose abandonment issue. And I chose abandonment issue, codependency, experiencing OCD, not being enough. Then right away, the script will be written. Magically, I had a script for this lifetime. And in that time, I was seeing that every character is playing their roles for my teaching would appear. So this character will pop up, and that was my father who's gonna leave me at the age 10, and then my mother who was so airy, up in the air, that I could not feel that, groundedness, being grounded and stick to what I say and what I hear and all of these things, right? So, and I also understood that each character, however they playing a role in my movie, are showing me the contrast of what I like and what I don't like. So even though in one single character, I see there are many different attributes about that character, some of them I might like and some of them I might dislike. But either way, each layer of the character that's being shown to me is for me to understand, oh, I like honesty. No, I don't like dishonesty. Or I realize that when you're not grounded and you're airy, that shows me that that wouldn't be my choice. I'm choosing to be super grounded. Being grounded. This is what I like, right? Okay. So basically, each character that is playing this role in my movie, remember, is for our teaching and for me to learn about a lesson and to have a choice. So what I want to say here on the topic of reincarnation, let me just pin this, and I will hands-on, I will read it when I finish this part, sweetheart. Okay? So when it comes to reincarnation and karma, I am having a lot of issues because oftentimes at the beginning we thought that karma is something for our punishment, or is something for us to be, there's a God sitting up there and he's watching every move that we make, or the God is just has a judgment of us, which is with the act that we do is good or bad. And somehow it was another fear-based thing into that context of karma. It's the same as religion. So I want to totally get your attention right now that the word karma, as we all know, is cause and effect. Karma is also something for us to see the soul that we're putting in the ground, what it will come out of it. But there is no way in the karmic field that it's for our punishment. And another thing that I hear often from people is that, oh, if this lady, she died in a car accident because she was probably clearing out her past karma. No, karma doesn't work this way. And because we have done something in another lifetime is not a payback on this lifetime. So I totally disagree. What I understand and I get here is that yes, it's true that every soul that I put in the ground is going to give me something. If I'm putting apple seed, I'm going to see that an apple will grow. And this is for my understanding, for my learning, for my experimenting. But in no way or hand, if in another lifetime I choose to be a killer, now here I'm going to pay for that lifetime. Because understand this, even though you're playing in one lifetime that you kill somebody, it's all that experience is through your consciousness. When I kill somebody, when I lie, when I cheat, when I steal, it's through me, my consciousness, my subconscious, that's going to haunt me, that's going to punish me and giving me a miserable life. But it's not because at this lifetime I experience killing somebody. Now in another lifetime I'm gonna pay for that. No, because again, I want to emphasize this. We don't have a universe that is judgmental. We don't have a universe that taking notes, because if there is no judgment, I believe even through the eyes of the universe or God, we are just experiencing something. And when I lie, right, when I lie to somebody, the person who knows I'm lying is firsthand is me. And what happened when I continue this approach of lying, I start to hate myself. I start to dislike myself. I get angry towards myself. So that's the karma. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So this is basically what's happening. When I'm lying, when I'm killing somebody, when I'm stealing from someone, I don't feel good, because as human, we're super conscious and we know what's going on here. So it's not about punishment. The punishment part comes from the way I start to see myself. I start to dislike myself. That's the punishment. That's the karma. That the choice that I made ended up making me feel bad about myself. Got it? And then I hear oftentimes that you ask me, what happens to my loved ones when my loved ones are leaving this world? Are they safe? Are they feeling good, or anything into that category? And yes, they do. I want you to remember that even at the time that we're dying, we are not alone. Our guides are next to us. Our guides are with us. Our guides are sharing their love towards us. But then sometimes, as you guys know me, being a shaman, I have private coaching sessions when people ask me if their loved ones is in a coma or if they're sick or something. They ask me, can you do something? Can you heal them? And what I want you to understand is that it's not about my ability as a shaman to do something. I don't have any control over that. What I do is I make the connection with the soul, separate from the mind and ego of the person, and regardless how the family members with their mind and ego and codependency feel about that person. So I connect to the soul, because it's the soul that makes the decision. Do I want to continue living here, or do I want to leave? It calls soul contract. And when I make a connection to the soul and the soul tells me that no, I think I'm done here right now and I want to leave, that's it. So remember, no shaman, no healer, Nobody has the power to keep somebody here. It's only the decision of the soul, and the soul has also chosen the timing which is coming and the timing that the soul is leaving. It's been pre-chosen, pre-planned by the soul before it comes here, right? And the minute we finish the lifetime, what the soul does for some time is just that gathers. Imagine if the soul has, like our mind has a hard drive. It's a computer. So the soul is like, let me just download all of these lessons, all of these things, and then the soul will collect all of the lifetime, the storyline, the lesson that was able to learn, the lesson that the soul wasn't able to learn, and maybe wants to move it to another lifetime. So the soul just downloads everything into this hard drive, and then the soul leaves, and the body and the mind becomes wiped out. No memory, nothing will be there. And then in the next reincarnation, the soul keeps every lifetime, the soul keeps adding all of this information, life lessons, this and that. The soul will collect everything, keep it there, and then the next life, another life, another life, and another life. That's why I keep saying your heart would not break over a stupid romance or love affair. Your soul would not break into pieces, because the soul is the whole knowing, has all of this vast knowledge of different lifetime. And the soul would like to constantly evolve and get more knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge, right? So the souls who come here as an empath, we come here, we have all of access to all of those knowledge from lifetime after lifetime, different paradigm lifetime. So we come with a combination, and when we come on planet Earth, our first choice is to evolve a step higher, and in that higher soul evolution, we want everyone else to help them to come to a higher level of understanding too, right? So when I tell you, ever since I was a child, it was never about me. It was always about how do I make, as a 3, 4, 5 years old, how would I make other people feel happy? How would I make them feel more comfortable? That's what I mean. I don't have an agenda for myself. I don't wish and I don't make plans. It's just about being at service, and then how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? But then again, if you don't choose to become an empath or have all of these, you still, before you come here, you have free will. You have free will to come here and say, I have no interest. Self-realization, self-inquiry, it's not my interest at all. I just want to have a simple life, and I want to watch Netflix all the time. And you can choose watching Netflix every single life. Or you can have a different choice. You can say, my priority is to really, truly awaken. And that's my intention. That's why my interest is self-inquiry. Who am I? Self-evolution. And in that, even the profession that I choose it's something in that arena that I become a coach, I become a spiritual counselor, I become a spiritual teacher. Why is this an interest? It's because I have chosen not only for myself to go through the most intense life learning lesson, but in my way I help everybody else to understand that. Got it? Okay, so let me see hands up. My family has experienced international trauma of sexual abuse. Okay, so sexual abuse or anything is a choice. Even though as our lineage of family soul, your grandparents experienced self-abuse, then the next generation, and then your parents and yourself, all of these, it's a soul choice before we come here. So finally, your grandparents, they went through this experience of this soul experience of sexual abuse, and then they were like, okay, I experienced that, I got it, but they're not connected to your parents because each soul has an individual thing. But sometimes we think because our grandparents and parents and we do that. No, souls has this thing. But if you see sometimes that it goes through grandparents and then parents and then you also are experiencing, it's a personal decision that sometimes I see through my parents. How did they go through this experience of sexual abuse? And for you to see, did you learn something from it by sharing this experience? Did your grandparents could help your parents to learn something from this or not? But again, to me, I don't feel like it's a karmic loop that is going one after another. It's just that through different people, you've been given this choice, and then sometimes I can learn. I learned through my mother that my mother got married in a young, early age. So then I didn't like that. Her marriage at the age 13 or 14 made me understand that that's not something that I like. I totally want to be having a different lifetime, right? So if we're going through this family thing, is not because, oh, we sharing the same karma or we being cursed or anything like that, right? So reincarnation, it's a beautiful thing. Reincarnation is for me to understand how beautiful and expanded my soul is, and my soul is constantly experiencing so many different lives. So basically, if you imagine, in this lifetime, you become a beggar and you don't have any money, you're sitting in the street and you're begging for money, right? There's nothing wrong with that, because you, on this lifetime, in this period time, you are experiencing becoming a beggar. In another lifetime, you becomes this scientist that you're inventing so many things, right? In another lifetime, you become a chef that you're doing a great, you really enjoy your soul. So what I'm saying is that no choice is a bad choice. It's all about soul wanting to experience. So for me, I understood, because when I was a kid, my whole interest was, although I was trying to help out everybody else to be happy and to be joyful and la la la, but I also had this deep interest in acting, performing, dancing. That's why in this lifetime, because everything is pre-planned, I'm born as a Taurus. My planet is Venus. Venus is all about art, beauty, love, sharing love, and that's what it is, right? And then, so since everything is pre-planned, I wanted to perform. I see life as a movie. Everything to me is a movie. People acting, colors, all of this thing is the Venusian part of me that my soul has learned from before. Then I got obsessed with my weight and everything, and then I became a personal trainer. I learned about nutrition, herbology, chiropractic, acupuncture, and then exercise and all of this, right? I experienced that. Then I got interested into herbology. I work with herbs and what heals, what does this, and the combination of this. And then I moved into cooking, healthy cooking, this or this or that. And then I even sold food to people door to door to door, right? And then after that, this healing thing came to me. So it's not because I'm wishy-washy and I'm moving from one thing to another. It's because in this one lifetime, my soul wants to experience so many things. I want to have a lot of experience. I have learned from you that my childhood trauma was the lesson soul has chosen to experience. Of course, Lavi, nothing here is about punishment, nothing here. And then when you come to a higher consciousness, you don't see anything in suffering and pain. Anything that shows up to me, and you guys have learned till now, is just that, whatever, this is another thing universe is giving me on a platter. Now the universe is giving me the loss of brother. Now the universe is giving me guys, I was married, right? That's why my last name is Burnett. My husband at the time, his name was Jerry O'Neill Burnett, right? And when he died, if you guys don't see things as pain or suffering or heartache, the first thing that I heard when he died is that you cannot replace your father with anyone else, because I knew Jerry for many years. He was asking me to marry him for many years, but I was never interested, right? But then again, in one conversation that we were sitting with a group, he was a pilot, and you guys know the story. His plane crashed and he died, and some of his friends were asking me, like, why aren't you getting married? I said, well, I don't know. They keep asking me. And in that one moment, I said, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for unconditional love. And right away, he said to me, he said, I'll give you unconditional love. And that's what sold it, right? So the way he looked at me, the love that he had in his eyes, he used to call me angel, my angel, my angel. It was my father in a different body, right? But then it didn't last more than 2 years. His plane crashed, and the minute he left, I heard this: you cannot go heal your father wound. And then I start getting into that, to this healing myself. And then I want you to remember, sometimes when you guys really do these two practices that I constantly tell you guys, thought, cut, silence, and seeing the ego and separating yourself from the ego, is just that in this moment of trance, or in the moment that I'm just so fully present doing gardening, I see different lives, pieces here and there and there. So when you guys really get me and hear me, that these two practices is been given to me by the universe. This is a savior. This is what it can save you. Thought, cut, silence, and separating yourself from the ego at every second and every minute, then you are capable to see multiple lifetimes. You can see, even in the worst moment of trauma, the pain and suffering that you're going through, you can see another lifetime, that you are so happy, joyful. You are on vacation. You're swimming in the beautiful ocean. Do you see what I'm saying? So by doing these two practices, you can see your different lifetimes and make that your intention if you're interested to see different lifetimes. Okay, I think I said enough about our life, reincarnation. If you guys are interested to know more about it, because I can talk about these topics days and days. If you guys are interested to know more about these topics, or you can write down or DM me or write in the comments that what topic or what question you have, so I can answer it in the next live. So before ending, guys, couple of things. Please don't forget, if you're watching me on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that. Subscribe right now. Share the love and knowledge. Share. And if you guys are watching me through Instagram, please do the same thing. Please save the live, share the live, like the lives, and you can help by sharing this live with other people. You can also help them to wake up. And the smallest thing you guys can do is just to share the lives. And by sharing my lives, you are sharing the love that we have through one another here on planet Earth. Okay? And then I'm going to make my last announcement that March 22nd, I'm going to have my retreat, 2 weeks retreat in Turkey, a little village called Avashile. So if you guys are interested to see me, to see my shamanistic healing work, the psychic surgery, to get the knowledge, to feel good and all of that, you guys can come to my 2 weeks retreat starting March 22nd till April 4th. You can come for 1 week if you guys are working, but I highly recommend this, guys. 2 weeks will change your life, and you will live this lifetime drama-free, and you can get healing for years of drama, PTSD, and all of that. So I'm going to leave you guys. See you next week. Much love. Bye-bye, everybody.